So I had to change. But even though I had to change my clothes, I wasn't at my destination yet. So because of that understanding, my change is not my promise, but it gets me to my place. Do you understand me now? We're all on the same page. So I want to create this atmosphere of picture to understand where we're going. They are now, and I'm talking about they in reference to the children of Israel, is they're in the midst of three different scenarios. They are currently in bondage. They are going to walk through change, which we consider as the wilderness, to be able to get to the promise. Okay, so in this understanding, what I want to be able to do is break these things down, because God said I need to be specific on what he's talking about he wants to change. Y'all ready? All right, let's go then. All right, bless your whole heart. I love that. So we're going to deal with these three pieces, and I would say the steps for change, but we're going to deal with these three pieces, and here is the three pieces: where you are, change, and promise. I'll say it again so we can all have it. Is where you are, change, and promise. Now, where they were before Moses came to the scene to be able to help them out and to deliver the people, where they were in bondage. Now, I want to be able to break this context down so we can be able to see it clearly, how this looks. And I want us to have a nice visual. Majority of the time when we look at scripture, we're looking from the end game, not per se in the current scenario. So when I look at them being in bondage, what I think about is I have to now break down to understand clearly this understanding. I need to understand how long they've been there, and how many generations probably set in here. So the generation that we are currently looking at that is now about to come out of bondage is a generation that was born in bondage. So they don't understand freedom. Bondage is normal. Being a slave is regular. Having a negative mindset is normal. Complaining about everything is normal. Because that's a part of what I was born in. I was born in this, so I don't know anything differently. So before we can talk about you getting to your promise, I need to be able to clarify that you were born in bondage. Oh, okay. So they were born, this generation of people that God is taking from one place to another using a man by the name of Moses were born in this mindset of this is what I know and this is all I know. So understanding this helps us to also understand some other pieces. That if they were born in bondage, they were also used to surviving. Because the only thing I do as a slave is survive. Because I'm used to every single day somebody being abused, somebody might be killed, somebody might be raped, somebody might be taken away. All of these things are normal because I don't belong to me. So only thing I'm doing day in and day out is just surviving. So let me ask you this before we go any deeper. Let me ask you this. Have you just been surviving? Some people look at, I can't be just, and no, I'm good. I'm not really just surviving because everything is good. Everything's going good in my life. Everything's going good in relationships. This is happening. I got a job. I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and I'm doing all these different pieces. But let me ask you a question. Are you living? Because the only way, the difference of this dynamic, if you are surviving or if you are living, is the only thing about survival difference from living is this, is every single time I'm storing because I don't know when the next time I get this opportunity. So I hold on to everything. I'm stingy with everything. My time, my money, my friends, my love. Because I don't know when I'm going to get this next opportunity. If you're like that in any area, you are surviving. You're not living. All right. So we on the same page. Are we working? And y'all are talking. Bless Jesus. Here's the other piece that I want to hit on, that when you are in this position of being in bondage, when you are in this position of being a slave, one of the things that you get used to is not trusting leaders. I'm going to look way up at that screen in the back of the room. Because as a slave, what you are used to is seeing leaders that treat me wrong, treat you wrong, do what they choose, when they choose, how they choose, say what they want, when they want, and all of these different dynamics, and nobody gets any repercussions. So I don't trust when you tell me to come close. I don't trust when you tell me to go over there. I can't trust when you give me that instruction. So these are a people that are dealing with bondage mentality, survival mentality, and lack of trust when it comes concerning to leaders. Now I'm just, because y'all looking at me like I'm crazy on this specific one. So I'm gonna give you this context of scripture just specifically for not trusting leadership. We can look at Exodus chapter 2, verses 11 through 14. And this is what it says. I'm gonna just read it. Y'all can go and look at it tonight. It says this: and it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown, that he went out unto his brethren, and he looked on their burdens, and he spied an Egyptian smiting an Hebrew, one of his brethren. And he looked this way and that way, and when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian and hid in the sand. Moses, you a bad man. You and killed this man and buried him right in the same spot. Verse 13, it says this: and when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews, the same people you just protected, 2 men of the Hebrews said together, and he said to him that did the wrong, talking to Moses, wherefore smitest thou thy fellow? I thought they was your people. Why would you kill your own people? I'm used to you killing us, but why would you kill your own? Next verse, it says, and he said, who made thee a prince or a judge over us? Intendest thou to kill me as thou killedst your Egyptian? And Moses feared and said, surely this thing is known. Now, first time I actually read this context, this is what I thought. I thought to myself, and myself said, And I thought to myself, I said, maybe the reason why they responded the way they did is because they said to him, man, you're hypocritical. This whole time we've been seeing you in the king's house. We've been seeing you sit over and give instructions just like they did. Only difference in dynamic between you and them is you ain't been working with us. You ain't had a whip in your hand. You just gave instructions. You've been in a house that's given the punishment, that's given the call for us to build and to do. So now you come down here and all of a sudden now you want to try to protect us? Who made you our judge? Who made you our ruler? And then I had to look again. Because here's the reality. Moses never said he was your judge. Moses never said I came to rescue you. At this point of the scripture context of the story, Moses never said anything about me rescuing you. So why would out of your mouth come, who made you my leader? Why? Because you protect me? Now you think I'm going to follow you like I was following him? You have a leadership problem. And it's showing because of the type of questions and conversation that you're having with the man that didn't even say he wanted to be yours. The only thing he did was save you. Now, let me help you real quick, because I know some people, when I say leadership, they automatically just thinking of people in certain powers and certain structures and all of those wonderful things. And that's in some sense, that is correct. But let me ask you another question. Can a friend come and rescue you and you don't feel like they want to lead you? So you said yes. You said yes. I'm glad you talked to me. Thank you, ma'am. So yes, so a friend can come and rescue you, and you don't have a problem with that. But a person that you don't know, if they come and help you, do you got a problem with that? Majority of people do. You know why? Because you have a trust problem. I can't trust anyone to lead me. So we're gonna move to this next piece, because here's the thing: if that is where they were, I know it ain't got deep, Pastor, because it ain't got quiet. So if this context that we're talking about now is where they were, now we have to deal with what God is trying to change. Because I can't live in where I am. I can't live that I am in bondage. I can't live that I still got this problem of trust. I can't live that I'm only surviving in life. I can't live that way. So the dynamic is we have to change where you are. Now here's the realistic thing that I love about how God does, is he's not just going to say, I just want to change you. He's going to say, I'm going to show you where I want to change you. So if you were bound, now I'm going to change you to make you free. But here's the thing that disturbs me. Josh, it disturbs me. It really does. Because God, you did make them free. You brought them out. But as I read through scripture, they still bound. Chapter after chapter after chapter after chapter. They're still bound. He said, Hiram, the problem is not their location, it's their mentality. So it doesn't mean just because I brought you out of jail that you're free. It just means you're no longer physically, but you're still mentally bound. So I'm trying to free your mentality. Because if I don't free your mentality, you will waste my blessing. I can't even take you to the promised land because your mentality is wrong. I'm gonna try to stay with my notes, and y'all about to mess with me. Because the problem that we have is we have people that's wanting to walk into a promised land while they still have slave mentality. So how do you want the resources of a God that you think gonna keep you bound? I don't see you as father, I see you as my prisoner. That's a mentality that has to shift and change. So I can't walk you into this, so I'm going to take you through season after season after season of change, hoping that you will realize what I'm trying to change in you is your mindset. Now, here's a question that I asked myself that it didn't make sense. You are over the water. You on the other side now. You walking in the wilderness. You watched Pharaoh and his armies drown. You actually praised God because they did. And you say, I want to go back. Now, here's what confused me. How you going to get there? The only way you got here is he made a way. So how you going to get back to the one that bound you? He ain't even alive. So if the whole army of Pharaoh is dead, and now you sitting over here in the wilderness where God has given you stuff that you ain't never seen, why are you talking about, I want to go back? How you going to get there? How you going to get, who going to lead you back? Because the only way you want to go back is because you're still a slave. So in scripture it shows, they said, let's find a leader that will lead us back to our bondage. So now I need a leader that's bound just like me. So your mindset is bound, I'm bound, and neither one of us can walk free. I know y'all see this is bless Jesus. So I'm So, okay, yes, Lord. So I'm gonna just do this. I'm gonna just bless Jesus. So how many are still bound by past hurt? Yep, that whole room got quiet. Jesus, Lord. To the point where I'm in something new. I might even be in a new relationship. I might be in a new job. But my mindset is still on the same pain, the same slave mentality, the same stuff that I had in the past. How can you walk in a relationship free if your mind is still in the past? How you think your mind gonna grow, your relationship gonna grow if you still thinking about him? Who is him? Where he been at? He ain't in here. He ain't moving you forward. So why are you still thinking about him and I'm with you? Because your mindset is still bound. You ain't free. So what we want to be is changed for what God is saying is next. And here's the thing. Yes, I will. Here's the thing. I need you to change your mindset based upon your future. I don't care what happened to you yesterday. How can I say that? Because if we serve the same God that says he's the same God today, yesterday, and forever, he's not talking about your past. I already dealt with that. Get the freedom in your mind for your future. I don't need you still dwelling on what didn't happen. You're here. What does that matter? So he's saying, I need you to be free because you can't walk in the promised land bound. Now, see, I'm okay. I know I ain't going to make my notes. Jesus help us. So, because here's the reality. Here's the reality. If you read scripture, if you read throughout the scripture passage, you understand this. You had a whole thousands of people that didn't want to change. They kept staying in the wilderness. He's like, okay, Moses, I'm going to try to do this. Okay, they want water? I give them water. What? They want food? I'll send them food. I'll take it right off my plate, scrape it, and let it fall down to heaven. We'll take it right out of our stove. We got a good chef. He can hook them up. What do we got to do to show these folks that what I am is not their slave master? What do I have to do? Okay, let me bring them to a mountain where they can get close to me, and I'll talk with them. Their master never did that. Let me change your perspective. And I'm trying to work and work and work. And scripture says, God just said, they don't want to change, Moses. Well, no, God, just give me that. Moses, I'm trying to work with them. But they don't want to change. So this is what I'm going to do. You know those ones that was born in change? The ones that was born in the wilderness, the ones that was born seeing manna fall from heaven, the ones that was born seeing me provide for them daily, those, let's wait for them to get old enough. Because I can't do nothing with those that don't want to change. So what I'm going to wait for is I'm going to wait for a generation of people to rise up that wasn't born in bondage, so they don't have a bound mentality. They were born seeing me do things that they know nobody else can be able to do. They know other God can be able to do. So I'm going to wait for them to get old enough and mature enough, and then I'm going to take them into the promised land. Because why? They want to change. The other ones, they want to keep their same mind. They want to carry their old luggage. They want to see this being done the same type of way. Now they so crazy, Moses, they so out of their mind. Now they imagining stuff that they ain't never had before. Tell me who was giving you onions? Tell me who was giving you barbecue chicken? They wasn't doing that for you, sir. Why are you talking about I want to go back because they was feeding me? I was getting a whole steak sandwich. No, you wasn't. You was getting slop. So what we do when we don't want to change our mentality and we don't want to be free, you start lying to yourself. Telling yourself what it used to be and how good it was. And if it was that good, let's be real, you will still be there. But it ain't that good because you ain't no longer there. So if it's not good then, it ain't good now, and God saved your behind to snatch you out of it. So he brought you to a place where you can get changed to get to the place that he needs you to be. Because he ain't doing it for himself, he's doing it for you. All right, let me keep going because y'all acting up. Y'all acting all the way up. Here we go. So he wanted to change or free you mentally, but he wanted also to change and free you in who you worship. Go, you said go ahead, okay. Because scripture shows they get in the middle of the wilderness. They got their leader going to seek God's face, to be able to hear what God is saying next. And because they're impatient and they spoil, they go and call Aaron and say, hey, your boy taking too long. I don't know what happened to him. He been up there too long. He might be dead. We don't know. He old, man. What you want us to do? So this is what I want you to do, man. Hey, can we please serve, can we go build this golden calf? Because we want to worship something. And we don't want to wait till God give us instructions. So we want to worship something. So can you build us what we used to serve? Can you build us a golden calf? Because we know our slave master used to worship. So can you build that for us? So let me ask you. Jesus, you just did this all to me. These folks going to beat me up. So I'm going to need, Travis, I'm going to need you after service to help protect me. So let me ask you, if he's freeing us from who we worship, who do you worship? Well, because we can tell who you worship by who pulls your string. I can tell you who you worship because when your problem happened, who pulled it? Who pulled your string? Who'd you go to first? Who'd you call first? I know you called Jesus, but who did you call first? I know you said I was in dire need and I needed help, but who did you call first? I can tell you who you worship by who you lean on first. Because if I'm clear, God said, lean not to your own understanding, but acknowledge me in all your ways and I'll direct your path. So who are you worshiping? Because if I'm worshiping the God that I say he is, then that means he knows something you don't got. So he's saying, I need to free you because who you worshiping is wrong. Here's the reality. I didn't give you man so you can worship man. I gave you man so you can remember me. Okay, y'all don't want to talk about that part. Here we go. Because the only reason why man is here is to show my glory. So if their job is to show my glory, just like the sun shows my glory, just like the cloud shows my glory, just like the trees show my glory, why are you worshiping everything but me? So who you worship is important to your freedom. Because why? Let me show you. Let me just tell you. So let me just tell you, because when they got to the promised land, there were several gods. So if you don't change who you worship now, if I put you in a room that you weren't able to walk in and they tell you they don't serve the type of God you serve, but let me show you what my God can do, what you gonna do? Are you still going to worship your God? Or are you going to do what they did after the scripture says, and when Joshua died, they knew not the God of Israel. They didn't know. And then they started to worship Baal. Then they started to worship this God. Then they started to worship the cow god and the sun god and the moon god and the star god. They start worshiping all these other gods because why? I didn't know who I was supposed to worship. Now, here's the other dynamic. If I free you from who you worship, I got to also free you for how you worship. Okay, y'all just, all right, I'm going to go to the next topic or next note, because here's the thing, because y'all don't want to hear that part. So here's the thing, how they worshiped in slavery was sexual, perverted. That's how they worshiped their God. They had, it was, now we just bless Jesus. They had a full-blown orgy. That's how they worship. So let me ask you, how do you worship? Are you perverted in yours? Is the only way you worship is God? Can you make me feel good too? Oh, y'all don't want to go there. God, can I worship you enough that you pay my bills too? Can I worship you enough that you can heal my body? All of that is in a package. I don't got to worship you to get it. So if all of this stuff comes with my relationship with you, how do you worship God? You come in here and play the game and want to be able to tickle his fancy so you can get something out of it and walk out and say, look what I got. I don't care about your car, nor your house, nor your money if your worship is negatively. So I can't take a person into a place where it's flowing with milk and honey, where your resources never get shut off if the thing you gonna worship me for is that. So who you worship and how you worship is going to be a part of your freedom. I'll just give you this because there was a woman that was sitting at a well. She came to a well. Jesus is chilling because he's saying he's tired. Woman comes up. He's now having a conversation. And he says unto this woman, hey, look, where's your men at? Where your hubby? Where your man at? I ain't got one. I know. You ain't had a whole line of them. I'm so sorry, girl. I know you just keep going through, don't you? Just one scenario, one man after another. You searching for something. I know, I got you. But here's the problem. Yeah, you're looking at this water. You came to get some water. I got you. But the water that I got for you, you'll never have to come here again. What you mean? No, I come here because I'm looking for a man. I got you. But if you come here and you drink what I'm trying to give you, you will never have to do it again. Okay, I got it. But then he makes this statement which didn't make sense because it don't go with the storyline. Whom you worship. Okay, I'll just read it. Let me just read it because y'all looking at me like I'm all. Y'all looking at me. John chapter 4, 21 through 22. Jesus said unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh, and when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father, you worship ye know not what. Not you know not who. You worshiping to get a man. You worshiping to get $1. You know not what you worshiping. You got so much stuff that you worshiping on your table. You don't know who you worshiping. But let me show you, I'm the one you're supposed to be worshiping. Because those that worship the Father, they got to worship him in spirit and in truth. That ain't perverted. That ain't no negative context. That ain't got no hidden agenda. No, it's straightforward. You got to be open with me. You got to be honest with me. You got to just worship me because I'm God. Not because of what I can pour out. Just because I'm truth. That's right. He is truth. All right. I'm trying to. So he's changing your freedom. He's changing now your living. I don't know why this song. There's a song that the powerful Clark sisters sang years ago. And I thought it was powerful. Still think it's powerful. Is my living in vain? Is my serving in vain? and it makes me think of something, because if he's changing my living, then God is saying your living should not be in vain. That means the way I'm living is on purpose. So I serve on purpose. I love on purpose. I give on purpose. Everything I do is on purpose. It's not in vain. Okay, let me, Jesus. So if I'm no longer living in vain, if he's changing my living, I'm not going to get through all my notes, but I think this right here will be enough. Jesus, thank you. If you take me off, I'm good. In your living, he's changing you from surviving to living. This is what he's changing you from, being in a survival mode to living mode. I'm going to give you a scripture, John 10. Y'all can write it down. John 10:10. We know this. The thief comes he comes not but to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that you may have life, and that you might have it more abundantly. So not that I just want you to be living. I want you to be overflowing. Okay, so So I'm gonna say this. Jesus, this is God. All right. You can get to a season. You can get to a season where you have had life, but you wasn't in abundance. And because life pulls on you, you can start living no longer abundant, but I'm starting to drain my life. Because, as the old school song would go, fill my cup, Lord. I lift it up, Lord. Come and feel this thirsting of my soul. Then it gets to a point in the song where it says, and let me overflow. Abundance. I got so much, it has nothing to do with the cup. It has everything to do with my extras. But when I don't live in my abundance, I'm living off the resources of my life. But you still got to pour. And if I pour till I'm almost drained, I ain't got no living. I'm just surviving. So why would God say this in this moment? And this ain't even on my notes. Jesus. Because sometimes the frustration of change is working for it. Okay, I'll say it over here, because you listening over here. The frustration sometimes of change is working for it. Because sometimes when you're working to see a change in your marriage, if you're working to see a change in your business, you're working to see the change in your money, you're working and working and working, ask yourself, when do you have time to get poured in? Because if all you're doing is working for the change, when do you have time to get poured in? When do you have time to be replenished? When do you have time to live in your overflow? If all you're doing is giving, how can I tell you this? This is how. You keep getting bills and don't have enough income. You can't live in overflow. Who you going to sow into? Your bill money and took all your seed. How can you sow in your future if you ain't got enough for tomorrow? I'm not, because I'm working and working and working to see a change. So I think the way I get more income is more hours. And I'm still working and working and working. But when do I have time to get poured? I can't live in abundance. How am I love you? Everybody pulling my love. How am I give you strength? I don't got none left. Because you're working for change that you will never allow God to pour back into. So I'm saying this to you: stop working for change and just change. Stop working for it. Ain't that hard. She don't like it, neither do you. So change. Your money ain't looking right. Change. Your job ain't good. Change. You got options because I live with a king. Y'all don't, okay. Y'all don't want to hear me. I don't care what's going in the world. I live under another economy. And because I live with another economy, I have different options. So I have an option to change. Only thing, I don't got to work for this. I just need to move where you move. I just need to flow where you flow. I don't know where I'm going next, but I know you got me. So that if you can open up a Red Sea, you can open up a job. I just need to stop working for something he already did. Okay, yeah. So here it is. I'm gonna just, okay. Because we are changing. Say that with me. We are changing. So if we're changing, one of the things, a part of God's changing, is he has to heal you. And I ain't talking about because you got sickness. I ain't talking about because you had a cold last night. No, I'm not talking about that. No, you can take ibuprofen to do something like that, knock that out in a couple days. I'm talking about healing the place that I can't see. I'm talking about healing the stuff that you smile in my face but still cry at night. I'm talking about the stuff where you say how you doing but then turn around and say, well, I still can't stand her. That's the stuff I'm talking about. No, if we're going to be changed, we got to be truthful. I won't change, but I don't like you. God healed that, because that's a problem that I need healed. So he's saying, I can't take hurt into promise. So if I can't take hurt into promise, I got to heal you before you get there. But the only way you can be healed, let's be real, you got to be truthful. God, it hurt. I'm still here. God, I wish that wouldn't have happened, but God, it did. I wish that wouldn't have been said, but it was. God, it hurt me, and I can't get over it. I know it's been 5 years, but I'm still there. I know it's been 7 years, but I'm still there. I understand how long it's been. But I need to be healed, because you're not about to open this door if I'm not. Okay. I can't go nowhere. Okay, so I'm gonna work this. This is blessed Jesus. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Here we go. Because I feel like they shouldn't have betrayed me. I feel like I did everything right. Why did that go wrong? I feel like I was giving you all I had. Why did this happen? I feel like they should have loved me better. Why didn't they? I feel like I should feel better about me. Why don't I? I feel all of these things. And this is how I feel. He's saying, okay, good. Thank you for telling me how you feel. Now will you let me touch it? Will you let me touch that pain? This is the only way I can heal you. Is you let me touch it. I know it hurt. I'm not your slave, master. I'm not him. I'm not her. So what I want to do is just touch it. This thing I don't want to speak to. This thing I'm not going to give you a prophetic word for. This thing right here, you got to let me touch it. You got to let me put my finger on this one because it's become stinking by now. And now you're trying to figure out why in the world is now this thing over here contaminated when it was working right. Why, when this thing was going good, why now I'm getting issues and problems? Because you're carrying something in you that's been dead for years. It's been dead. You've been carrying that pain for a long time. And he's saying, but let me touch it. I want to heal this thing. Because again, you're not. I'm such a good father. I wouldn't set you up for failure. And me not setting you up for failure sometimes means I'm not going to let you go. I ain't going to let you grow to the next place. I cannot do that to you. And here's the reality. Some have been asking God, take me higher. But he's saying, I can't. Because if I take you higher, you'll pollute more people. Because you still unhealed. So you got to let me heal it. And here's the piece. Is after you let me heal it, Sister Scotty, you got to give this thing called recovery time. Pastor, you remember when you had your scenario and you messed up your arm? There was a moment where the doctor said, I know the other arm is working well, but there's certain weights you can't go beyond. It's not that you wasn't strong, you're just in a season of healing. So for you to heal properly, you can't lift this no more. So there are certain times in the midst of healing where you have to say, I can't have that conversation. I'm in recovery. I can't. I'm in the recovery room. I can't expose myself to this right now. So in my moment of healing, I can't expose this because if I do, I'm gonna become infected. So in my healing process, I gotta distance myself. In my healing process, I can't walk in that room because I'm in recovery. Never known an addict that goes to get his help and then goes right back to the crack house. Never known an alcoholic that says he's trying to recover, he's trying to gain the strength to not take this bottle in the midst of pain and walk into a bar. Never seen it. Because why? The instructions is until you are fully strengthened, you might want to keep your distance. So I'm going to say this, and I am going to be done, I think. There are certain conversations, and I don't know why I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. There are certain conversations in your relationship that you don't need to be talking about. Because here's the reality. You ain't healed from it yet. So you talk now, you talking out of your pain. You talk now, you're going to drive them away. You talk now, they'll never see God in you again. You speak now, they'll never follow your instructions. So until you are healed, keep your mouth shut. This topic, baby, we can't talk about right now. I'm not ready yet. It's wisdom, but I can't deal with this right now. It's not that I don't want to deal with it. It's not, I cannot handle it because I'm in healing. Now, I do hear that. Don't use that as an excuse to get away from your responsibility. Because some conversations ain't because you're trying to heal. Some conversations you don't want to have because you don't want to be responsible. All right, it's a difference. It's a difference. So I'm not giving you a green light to be like, well, Hiram said, I ain't got to talk to you about that. No. No, you're not. You're not about to do that. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. Not. Well, I know, Pastor, but Minister Hiram said I got to heal first. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. What you're going to do is you're going to be responsible for what you did wrong. Take your accountability. God, yes, Pastor, I did wrong. I did mess that up. Yep, honey, you know what? I was wrong. I was wrong. Take your responsibility and then say, in the process of me healing to get better, can you walk with me? But don't be like, don't do that. I'm just telling y'all now. If I hear any of y'all in this room or on that line, talking about Minister Hiram said, I promise you, if the Lord don't show me, my pastor will. And I promise you, I'm going to tell on you. I'm like, God, I didn't tell that person to do that. That was all on them. That was all on them. They didn't want to take responsibility for that wrong, which shows they don't want to grow. And what God is trying to do with his people is for us to grow. He wants change to happen. And change, again, is not the promise. Change is just the process to get you to it. So what God is doing in your life personally is that means that there's areas that God is saying, I need you to change. There's things that God is saying specifically, yep, that mindset has to change. That behavior has to change. One of the things you can see throughout Scripture as they are walking through this whole context of change in the wilderness is their mouth got them in more trouble. You need to change. There's no way we can say that, God, that we want to be more like you, but we don't have no self-control. Self-control is also here. It ain't just what you eat. It ain't just how you act. It's your mouth too. Because you don't got to say that. You just chose to. But this is what he's saying. I'm trying to take you into a place that you know not of. It's something that inhabits these promises that I'm giving unto you. But you won't have the strength to fight for what I'm trying to give you if you cannot grow and if you won't change. Because reality is, and we can all stand, the reality is this, is the next place that God is taking us. There are enemies that know your buttons. And if you have not healed, if you have not changed, and if you have not grown, you will be defeated in the place of promise. So God is saying in this moment, let's change. Change is coming. Change is coming. The question is not, is it coming? The question is, will you change? So as every head bowed, every eye closed, and for those that are online, we just want to even say to you that God is giving you this opportunity for change. And in this moment, this is called an examination of your own heart, where you examine to be truthful with yourself and say, these areas are the place that I want to change. And here's the beauty. God is not telling you to change without his help or assistance. He's telling you to change, and he's saying, I'm willing to help you. You just have to acknowledge that you want it. So if you're in this room this morning, or if you're watching online and you say, listen, Minister Roche, there are some areas in my life that I want to change. One of the things that I want to change is my lifestyle, my living. I don't want to live without God. So I don't know if that means for you that you don't have a relationship with him currently and you want that. Or if it's that you have withdrawn yourself, as we would consider as being backslidden from God. And now you're saying, God, I want to get back into the place where I need to be with you, with my life to you, this relationship with you. If that's you in this room, I want you to do me a favor and just lift your hands. If you say, I need to get right back with God, I need to rededicate my life to God, or I just want to have a relationship with God. The other appeal that I want to make for you that are online and those that are in this building, if you say, I want to be healed, there are areas and places within my life that I want God to heal. I need you to do me a favor. Those that are online, comment it in the comment and let me know and say, yes, I want to be healed. And we will be praying with you. We will be interceding with you. But if you're in this building and you say, I want to be healed, I want you to be bold enough to elevate your hand. I see you. I see you. And those that are online, if you also in the building and you say, I can sense that this place is home for me. This is the place that I know I'm supposed to be connected to. And you want to join this church, make sure you acknowledge that online. And if you're in this building, I want you to make sure that you get to this altar to be able to do that. Thank you all that are viewing, that are on. We love you, and we'll see you this Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. But those that are in this building, if you elevated your hand, I want you to do me a favor, and I want you.
Good morning, Christian House of Prayer. These are your morning announcements. Heads up, we are going digital. Be sure to use the QR codes located in the announcements for more information on future events and possible registrations. Also, follow us on social media at CHOP Colorado. Hey CHOP Colorado kids, we're back in person. Be sure to join us every second and fourth Sunday starting August the 14th for in-person children's church. We have missed you guys, so let's get ready for some fun and fellowship. Parents, please don't forget to register your kids in advance. Gentlemen, this fellowship is just for you. Movement is